morning, everybody. Welcome to the HR Morning Show. It is Tuesday, the 3rd day of December in the year 2024. I am joined by my co-host for today and every day, Joel Lalgy. And we're going to send a big get well to our third co-host that completes this triad over here, Danielle Farage. She is recovering, and we wish her well as she
Get
is
better.
recovering in some bougie New England manor on the lake somewhere that she's up there resting her leg. I know she's watching us this morning. So shout out. Joel, what's happening, man?
Not much, my man. We just had Thanksgiving. It was great. I would love to hear from everybody in the chat. Who is out there? Let us know. Get in the chat. Why don't you tell us how your Thanksgiving was? And if you can, wish Danielle a recovery. And Danielle, if you're out there, why don't you say hi as well?
Yeah, get in the comments, Danielle. Make yourself useful there.
Get
Joel,
in the chat.
what is I know that Thanksgiving is not your native
No,
holiday because
it's not.
you're from some weird part of the world. What is your favorite hot Thanksgiving dish?
Ooh, that is a good one.
Ooh,
Ooh.
zinger.
Look, so my wife makes these like stuffing bowls, and they're so good. It's got like sausage, stuffing, cheese, and it's like all melted together, and they're amazing. And it's props to my wife for that one. What about you? What's your favorite?
Production team, we need to splice in the South Park chef reference video when Joel says that.
Yeah, yeah.
My favorite dish. My father-in-law makes a great turkey, but that's kind of cliche. So our
You
family,
do it fried, or do you do it like traditional
no,
style?
he does it in the oven, but he brines it for days. It's pretty damn good. So my family, Russian descent. So we have some native dishes on the table, which I usually stay away from. Usually involve fish heads and purple blobs. But my sister-in-law Sandra, I'm going to give a shout out. She makes a ridiculous sweet potato pie, and I hate
Love it.
marshmallows. I despise marshmallows, but once a year, the way they bake and melt and the amalgamation with the sweet,
Mm.
it works for me. It works for me. So shout out to that. And then on top of that, I got to give a shout out to my mother-in-law. Her deviled eggs are the best in the business with
Woo!
smoked salmon, paprika. They just slap. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the HR Morning Show. We got a big surprise for you. What do you think it could be?
I don't know.
Special check-in from our buddy Mark Chaffey. A special guest doing dual weather report. Judson Laipply showing us some dance moves. And we're heading
Woo!
to December with a
I've
bang.
got a crush
On who?
on
No.
someone today.
Huh?
I got a crush on someone.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah, you get it, right? It says
Nah,
it says on my shirt.
nah.
Amy, good to see you in Chicago. And Danielle is out there. Yes, I'm not wearing a hat. I'm trying not to wear hats anymore. I'm getting over my phobia of not wearing hats.
Well, we could always send you to Turkey for some hair transplants if you need them. That'd be some great content for a future. You ever see those on the plane when all the dudes are going to Turkey and they have those things on their head?
Yeah.
It's terrible. But let's get this show moving, everybody. We have a lot to get to. It is Tuesday, and we want to thank everyone for spending your Tuesday with us. We have a jam-packed show, so let's get to it.
And
Guess what? Don't worry. Listen, before we get to headlines, if you're coming on late, if you're watching us, you could catch us. We got the replays. We're on YouTube. You can go over to Spotify, go to purpleacorn.io. We're here every Tuesday. You could catch a replay because I know a lot of you are working and
yeah.
a lot of you have better things to do. Hopefully not, and you're spending time with us. So let's get to it. This is a good one, Joel. Walk us through what's happening here.
Look, they are saying that the PIPs, which for anyone who doesn't know what a PIP is, it's because you're a really good employee. A PIP is a performance improvement plan. And the idea of a PIP is if someone's off track with their performance objectives, which are usually super subjective anyway,
Mhm.
but if you are off track, a PIP is a way for you to set a plan for the future. And your manager works with you. They get you on track to where you need to be, and you don't end up getting fired. But I got a sneaky suspicion that that's
Mm.
not what goes on with pips a lot of the time, and it's also could be, although many people won't admit it, it could be a way to get some documentation down, so you have a good reason to fire that
Yep.
unwanted employee that you've wanted to lay off for the last 3
Well,
years, haven't been able to.
pips are nothing new. I mean, I've been put on pips plenty of times in my
You
career.
pipsqueak.
Unfortunately, I'm a pipsqueak, and you know what? And I'll be honest. I'll be honest with you. I'd say the 4 times I've been on a pip, 3 of the 4 were justified because I wasn't doing, what
Dang,
I
did
was
you just say
hired for.
was that 4 times in, like, 4 years, or
Basically, but here's the deal: if you're put on a pip, that is your immediate signal to start looking for a job. There's really I'll be honest, guys. I don't know the official statistic there, but I would say less than 5% people come back from a PIP. I mean, I'm
Well,
throwing a number out there.
I just
It's a way to smooth the process to exit you out the door because it's basically justifying a reason for termination.
look, I just did a video on this, and basically my argument was once you're on a PIP, I think the majority of your focus should be on covering your own back, going to
Yep.
look for new opportunities while you have a job.
Oh,
Uh,
100%.
and I'm not saying you shouldn't just completely give up on your job. I mean, if you did that, there probably is good reason you're on a PIP. But
Yeah.
with
I
with
mean,
with the pressures that companies are facing right now, they're looking to get rid of people. And I did a video on it, and I got a lot of comments on this.
what?
Just people just saying like, um, basically saying that companies put you on PIPs because they really care about you and they want to get better. And I'm
No,
like, guys, how can you on it? I
no.
mean, let's be real about it.
There's conversation before someone goes on a PIP. There's conversation. The right way to do it, if you're having performance issues, if you're having other kind of issues at work, a good manager, in air quotes here, a good manager will give you real time feedback in the moment for a specific situation. I've had some great bosses, some great leaders who, if I mishandled the situation, they're kind of doing like, color commentary after the fact, a little bit Monday morning quarterback. Hey, you could have done this better. Maybe you could have handled the situation differently. When you get to a PIP, that's just documentation for HR and to head you out the door.
Ooh,
The
I like
hospice. Ooh, look at that.
perform
Get that in. Read that one.
performance plans are the hospice of HR. Ooh,
Ooh, we gotta put that on a billboard, John Kraski. We gotta get that up. It's true. You know what? It's just a formality before they show you the way out. What's
and
Summer
then
saying?
someone said, "In my previous leadership role, we would use PIPs as a final step to either regain commitment or not. More than likely, it never works long term. I've used them many times."
It's
And
also
look, that was kinda like the sentiment that I got in the post that I did yesterday with this. But, I think a lot of people, like, in theory, and I kept repeating this. I said, "In theory, a PIP would make sense, right? Like, hey, you're not performing. We're gonna get you back to that level."
yeah.
I was talking to somebody else the other day. So many companies do not have an objective way to measure performance, and I think everybody just defaults to the
Well,
obvious one, which is like sales.
right,
Like
but that's
like
the easy one, right? Like that, if you're not hitting your sales numbers, that's fine. But what are the reasons? But then other things, as you said, are subjective. But what other way do we have it? Is it client dissatisfaction? Is it other employees, talking smack? Right? Like what could it be? But
exactly.
most people are on a pipper for a reason, straight up. And then the ones that aren't, like if the companies are using it, it's like you're calling BS on it anyway, and you're looking for a way out.
Exactly. And look, I've been on a PIP too before, and I actually did survive, but then I left the company 6 months later because I just it felt
Yeah.
I don't know, it was a
You're
very
against the ropes, right? You're against the ropes. You're defensive. You're trying. You're almost overcompensating to fix what isn't working, and it's diminishing returns in a self fulfilling prophecy.
but it's happening more than ever right now. That's what they're saying. So we're on a rise. So if you find yourself on a PIP, my advice: start looking for other jobs. It's easier to find a job when you have a job, and the worst thing that can happen is you get uh, let go from the company, you get fired, and then it's like trying to find a job in this
No,
market when you don't have
no.
a job.
Well, then it's a good time
That's
to
rough.
start that side hustle. You could turn into your passion, right? Isn't that what they
And
say
if
on
you
my
want to start a side hustle, you could join my school group. Quit your 9 to 5. I'll put the link in the comments. All right. I know.
shameless?
Shameless plug. Um, yeah, but look, guys,
Well,
I would love to know from you guys. Obviously, we got some really good thoughts here, but let us know. Like, why don't you let us know? Have you ever seen a PIP turn out amazing? Has it
turn
ever worked out to
around,
where like
bed tip.
let us know?
Every now and then I fall apart. Okay, let's get
Beautiful.
to it. It's nine
Let's move
o'clock. You
on.
can be
Let's move on.
I I don't know. Where is it? I was waiting for it. I was ready to do my little jig. It's kind of like reminds me of the Bluey theme song when my son watches every morning. So yeah, yeah. So it's fun. All right. Well, yeah. Recruiting. All right. Today we're doing the the Hot 100 with Clark with no music, unfortunately. I'm going to talk that the dead rec dilemma, or rec is stands for job order. So not all job orders are created equal, right? So how do you spot the ones that aren't going to leave you spinning your wheels, right? This is obviously geared towards agency recruiters, but if you're corporate, this matters too, right? You have, I know a lot of you corporate recruiters out there have 100 roles to work on, so you got to be able to prioritize which ones are actually going to close, right, to hit your own numbers. But we'll talk on the agency side for this segment because that's my background. So again, if a company can't explain their reasons why an ideal hire, right? Oh, they list all these must-haves, but then you ask them, well, why is someone want to work here, right? What are the 3 reasons this perfect candidate's going to take this job? Right? You think about, say, software developers or people in construction, right? They're in demand, or accountants, they're in demand. You got to be convince them, right? And they got to believe that this is an opportunity worth taking from them, right? Making the jump. Having unrealistic expectations. The biggest one could be low compensation, but they want the best of the best, and there's no compromise. There's no wiggle room. It's going to be hard to work with someone like that. One of the recent ones, another example I had recently with a client, was companies that want a longer guarantee period. In of itself may or may not be a red flag, but you always want to dig in. And so she dug in with this prospect. They were using agencies, they were on contract, they wanted to go more direct hire, but they were really stuck on pushing back the guarantee period. And she kind of kept digging in. And the manager was talking about, well, people get here and maybe they feel like it wasn't what there was promised, and they kind of leave. So she started to pick out maybe it's a toxic work environment. Well, she didn't want to waste her time or waste her candidate's time or her reputation. Right. So she kept digging versus just succumbing and just saying, okay, well, I'll do a longer guarantee period because I need the business. Now, she's a digital recruiter client, so she has an abundant pipeline, so she can walk away. And that's exactly what she did. And so she's going to save herself hours of time. And now she also has a company that might not have a great work environment. Could be a great place to pull candidates from that might be to a better client. So again, walking away isn't a bad thing. You just have to have the infrastructure and the pipeline, obviously, to feel confident that you can. But yeah, you guys ever walked away from a seemingly great opportunity?
Yeah, so there's a couple things I want to chime in here. First of all, let's talk about red flags as agency recruiters and contingency deals, right?
Yeah.
I a lot of companies, a lot of staffing companies use the guarantee period as a negotiation lever. For me, that doesn't work for me, because there really has to be a balance on all sides, responsibility of a company to onboard properly. We as recruiters bring you the talent. We vet them as much as possible, but ultimately it's your decision as a company who's making the hiring decision to say yes or no, do you want to hire them? And are we going to onboard and train them properly, right? So that part's out of my control. Once you hire them and they start in your company, I am hands off. So how is it my responsibility to ensure that they stay for X period of time? So what I do is, depending on the guarantee period, right? It's either going to be 60 or 90 days. I also do not ever offer a refund. I offer a replacement. And those are my terms. Otherwise, what you're doing is basically you're trying to, and I learned this early on in my career. I had my first contingency deal, 85 days into a 90-day period, let go, and then we had to give the money back because it was a crappy deal, right? I didn't write the contract for that one. It was basically like they were trying before they buy, because what's the risk then?
There's none.
Yeah, screw it.
There's none. So
Moving on.
I completely with you. Joel, what do you got?
Look,
Yeah.
I think just in general in business, walking away is a superpower, and I know that walking away is really hard, but I've actually found that if you walk away, even in a sales process, you become more desirable. And it's this weird thing that happens. Like when you
Mm-hmm.
tell people no, it's like they want to work with you even more, even more. All right. But I think that walking away from difficult business is probably the best decision you can make, because if you get caught up, especially if you're a solo 360 recruiter and you're managing BD and you're
Mm-hmm.
managing filling recs, you get one difficult client that takes up 80% of your time, you're losing on it every single time. So you've got to think, at the end of the day, am I going to be more productive wasting hours with this person? Because for me, like there's multiple red flags. There's
Mm-hmm.
can't make a decision, keep wanting to move people through the process, like terrible communication. It's actually one of the reasons why, because a lot of times people jump to, well, just get them on a retainer. And I'm like, that's not always a solution. Sometimes a
You're trapped then. You're
contingency,
stuck.
yeah, exactly. A
You have
contingency
to
deal
deliver.
can be a good way to vet out potential clients as well, because for the recruiter it's zero risk, and it's something that isn't talked about a lot, because right now there's a lot of people
Right.
who are pushing retainers and saying, well, if you get the money down, then it works out best for you.
They could be an
No,
awful client. They could be an awful client. Now you're stuck trying to
exactly.
fill a role, and then you're getting the pressure from the client. Why aren't you even filled it? Why haven't we seen it? And then you push back on them, and you throw all the red flags back in their face. Then they push it back to you. Well, you're not delivering the right, candidates. Like, you're not giving me the right feedback, and it turns into a he said, she said, and it sucks.
Exactly, and I think, to me, it's less to do with how you structure the deal, more to do with the just the relationship and how easy the person
Mhm.
is. It's the same if I'm doing a branding deal, if I'm doing a recruiting deal, whatever type of deal I'm doing, if the person's difficult to work with, I don't really care how much money is on the table, unless it's like, unless it's a massive amount of money.
$1,000,000.
Right, but it's like, how often does that happen? If it's gonna suck a ton of my time and it's gonna actually take away from other clients that could be better long-term clients, I'm gonna walk away. And so you've got to weigh up, are they difficult to work with? Is this even a long-term relationship that I want or I see? And that's what you should be fighting for, the long-term
Yep.
relationships always in recruitment. Because if you don't have that relationship, I don't care if you send them the best candidate in the world, if they're not really bought into your process, it's very, very hard to close and collect the money in the end, and you just end up going through a real nightmare scenario. So I think for particularly contingent recruiters, you gotta really, really be smart about who you work
Dial in.
with. Dial in.
Dial in. What say you,
Dial
Clark?
in.
Your segment.
That's why you guys are the experts. No, I think it's great for people to hear from you guys, because that is the difference. That's the make or break. I think one of the questions I get after that is, okay, well, how do I get my confidence there, or how do I speak up? It's understanding your value proposition. Like, why are you doing this? What value are you bringing to the table? For some recruiters, the tough answer is like there isn't a ton of value, right? Maybe you're more of
Well,
a generalist. You don't have the experience. Like, you have to actually kind of have the self-awareness to know. And some people start with lower rates, and some veteran recruiters bash on them. I don't mind if you got to get in your door get in the
right.
door somehow and work your way up, build that confidence,
Well,
build up your value in the market. And sometimes that's the route you have to go. But even when you're starting out, one good client is going to be obviously way better than one bad client. Like, do the work to get that one good client versus just the low hanging fruit for one bad client. And you're going to probably still never get paid, and you just wasted 3, 6, 9 months potentially.
yeah, the other X factor too is I'm always asking, and I wasn't necessarily able to do this when I started in recruiting a decade ago, but now I'm at a point too where I won't really take a contingency deal if they're working with other outside recruiters. I don't want to swim in the ocean, the same
Exclusivity is huge.
exclusivity, but I use exclusivity as a negotiation lever also, where either I'll move those other levers, I could drop a point or two for exclusivity, and I also negotiate exclusivity for a certain period of time if they push back, right? So you have all these levers that you could have. I start big, I go, give me exclusivity, I'll drop a point or two on the fee, or I'll give you an extra 30 days on the the replacement refund, whatever you want to call it. And then if they push back on that, I could say, okay, well, give me exclusivity for 60 days. Give me the first take at it. Exclusivity aside from any organic inbound applications. Let's caveat that.
And guys, this is really where brand comes into play, because if people perceive that your brand is valuable, then you don't need to say, "What is my value proposition?" They're already thinking,
They
"Wow, this
know it.
person's valuable." And this is where, like, building your brand in a way that's strategic, where you are valuable already going into the conversation, is huge. And so I know a couple of
Huge.
recruiters. I know more than a couple of recruiters. I know a lot of recruiters who, they have a strong brand on social media. They're featured in magazines, or they've got a podcast. They've got something that shows credibility and value. It goes a lot way. I think you
Like us.
struggle. You struggle if you go into the conversation and they didn't come inbound, or they don't know you, or they don't know who you are. I think that's where you could struggle to bring in the value. And again, like, brand isn't always online. Like, if you are like a recruiter that's well known within your industry offline, that can work as well. But that's why I'm always thinking about, like, what is your brand? Like, what are you known for? And if they know your brand, if they know that you are the top recruiter, you're the one who's placing people, it goes a long way. And even if you're junior, like, that's why you could start building some sort of credibility, some sort of
Right.
awareness of who you are online. You don't need to be 20 years in the industry to do that. And then it's a case of, you've got to be confident when you pitch that. One of the things I say is, like, look, I say, look, I'll have a higher fee for contingency. If you want to put a little bit of money down, I'll work on, like, a container retainer agreement. And then when they say, well, what's that for? I say, look, because I value my time. You might not value it, but I value it. And I value it so much that I'm willing to walk away from you right now. And you start speaking like that, people go, whoa, all right, this guy's not just desperate for my business. And I think if you go in there desperate, and we all know it's a tough market, but if you go in there desperate, people sniff that out, and then they put you lower down on the value scale. Whereas if you just stick to your gun and say no, you can always follow up in a week and say, hey, how's that position going? Is it still filled? No, it isn't. All right, well, let's revisit this. And so just thinking a little bit more strategic. But that's my advice for people. Like, know your own value, be able to articulate it, be
Mm.
bold.
Dropping gems, as the comment section is saying. So we have one question: is any advice for hiring volunteer positions? And I'll quickly say, for me, find the people that are aligned with that mission. I mean, if you have like a adopt a dog center, adopting pets, go to the veterinary school, right, and all that stuff. Like, just go find people that are aligned with a mission, because again, if they're going to work for free, that would be that's what you want to look for.
I dig it.
Love it.
Cool.
All right, cool. Clark, where can folks find you?
digitalrecruiter.io. Check me out on LinkedIn, Clark Wilcox, with 2 L's in Wilcox. And shoot me a message. Say what's up.
Cool. Good. Hot take. Favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Stuffing.
Okay, great. Clark, thank you so much for that amazing insight. We appreciate
marshmallow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Marshmallows on pumpkin.
I don't like marshmallow one day a year. All right, buddy.
Well, if you can't,
Paul's getting smashed on this show. I love it.
I get smashed all the time, man.
He's getting crushed.
Yeah, crushed like you're trying to fit into that extra large shirt. Let's move it on. Let's get to the event roundup. Thanks, Clark. We'll see you soon.
See you, buddy.
All right. It's the event roundup. We got a lot going on right here. Our buddy Mark Chaffey is going to be joining us. We have a lot of things going on. They have a LinkedIn Live coming at you on December 5th, which is this Thursday, right? Is that the 5th? Keep me straight there, Joel. 5th, Thursday?
5th.
Yeah, hack a job. They got our dude Hung Lee on there, and I can't read the name of the other one on there. It's kind of small there. But you guys get it. Tune in. And Mark's going to talk about that in a little bit. I have my podcast end of year show, which I'll be announcing soon on the 27th. I'm actually thrilled to welcome my 7-year-old son Ollie for the first time on the podcast. It's about the same age that my daughter Nina made her first appearance there, so I'm excited to have those folks on. They're called my kids, and as always, I got the Unpod Squad, Joel, Liam, and Denied. So we have an annual tradition. Been doing that for about 6 years, dude. We've been doing that for a long time.
It's wild.
Yeah, it's wild.
We met. Adam and I met in 2019, so that's almost 6 years ago.
Yeah, 2000.
It was amazing. That was back in the day when Shay Rowbottom was making her waves on LinkedIn.
She still is, dude. They're ridiculous posts by there. But let's keep this one straight here. The event roundup 2025 is coming around. Joel, save that for the end of year show. That's when we get to rant. Honestly, guys, if you want to hear the dirt, if you want to hear the the kids spill the tea, tune into the podcast end of year show. We're gonna get that in the event roundup next week, aren't we? Team production.
We are, and we got some big events coming up. We got Talent Acquisition Week in February. What is that? February 2nd to
around there. Yeah, we might be out there. You might see some familiar Purple Acorn morning show crew.
You know, when you see us walking through, there's two things you see. You see purple and you see red. We got red on the shoes because that's what we do with the Red Shoe Crew.
ERIN.
Purple Acorn. That's how we do it.
Up top.
And then
what else we got going on?
Man, March we got Transform. I tell you what, that conference is a win. Win. All right, it's
for everybody.
In the win in Vegas. Great conference. Adam, you're gonna be doing something big. Why don't you give us
massive? Partnering with our friends over at Greenhouse. We're gonna have a lot of things going on. I'll be broadcasting from their booth both days, and I'll be taking this stage along with a great lineup that we'll be sharing shortly once we have that all locked in. Yeah,
I love it. What about are you thinking about doing something with Blue Condo next?
With what?
Blue Condo, yeah, it's a joke on Greenhouse, but whatever. It's all good. And then we've got Evolve, the Evolve TA and HR experience. Tell us about this. This is a new one.
Yeah, this is a fun one. Our friend Anna Morgan is throwing her hat in the ring with an event we're excited for. It's going to be in Hotlanta. Our buddy Brian Fink is going to be talking about that in a little bit. And what's cool about this conference, it's almost like an unconference where, listen, when you go into these events, you're kind of planning, which talks you're going to go to, which things you're going to check out. This one, they're not releasing it until
Hey, hold on. We got a comment in here. Where are people joining or commenting from outside of LinkedIn? We are on YouTube right now as well. We are all across socials, and this is a live event.
This is live, bro. Hey, LinkedIn user, this is live.
This is live, okay? This is me right here. Look, I'll let you.
Who are you, LinkedIn user, Mr. or Mrs. Anonymous? Why can't you just tell us your name? You're trying to be all shady over there.
Exactly.
Oh, you
Whatever.
know what's great about this is my favorite AI commenter on my thread every day. Sherman Prince is great. I don't know, Sherman, I
No,
don't know what
Mike
AI
Mike
tool you use.
Mike came with the hot AI, comment here. Clark Wilcox, your HR show lineup sounds amazing. I wonder if Judson will see just the evolution of dance moves.
When you
There we
see
go.
when you see the emoji and the, hashtag, come on, guys, do better with your AI comments. We could go on a rant on that for a while, but we have a lot coming up. Aside from that, the calendar is starting to fill up for 2025. Be sure to catch us with all of our friends. We're gonna be at all these events. We're easy to spot, as Joel said. Either you'll see our shoes or you can hear our loud voices, and, we're ready to do that. Let's keep the show moving, and,
Let's
let's
go.
get into it. Caller, who could it be now? Good morning. Yeah. Oh, oh. He's on. He's live in the flesh.
Good morning, party people. How's everybody doing after Thanksgiving? After all
Whoa.
the
That's so
stuffing,
much energy. Take it
dude.
down a
Look,
notch. Take it down a notch.
look. You know that I've got to bring the energy to be able to compete with you and with Joel and with all the outstanding guests that you have when you have Serge come on the show. And I'm
Oh,
just
that's what does. Surge pushes us over the edge. I mean,
he does, he does.
I mean,
He's electric, right? So that's
Woogie.
what we're speaking to.
Brian, what's
Adam,
happening,
what's
man? How
going
you
on?
doing?
What's a good word?
What is happening? I'm thrilled. I mean, listen, for everyone out there, Brian and I are old friends. He is one of my favorite people in the business. We hang out online, we hang out offline. His morning motivational AI text really hit me in the soul. Really, you get me, especially when you call me the wrong name. It's great.
I did call you the wrong name. I was like Lindsay. I
Brian
hope that
LinkedIn. All right, Brian. For anyone out there who does not know you, just give a real quick intro. Tell us who you are and what you do best.
Hey, my name is Brian Fink. I am a senior technical talent acquisition partner at McAfee Security. I like to bring people together to solve complex problems. That's my MO. I shout out to Mr. Evan White and the FinkedIn hat. Should we give out some FinkedIn hats today, Adam? What do you think about?
If you in the comments want a LinkedIn hat, hashtag LinkedIn, tag Evan White, and we will make that happen.
Yeah, we'll get out some hats. I've got several here on the wall that I will be more than happy to send
You
out.
can autograph them. Are you going to autograph them?
Oh, I don't know, man. Like that's just weird. Like, you know what was so weird is when I published the book and people would come up to me and they would be like, "Dude, would you sign the book?" And I'm like, "Ooh, this is an interesting thing. Like, what's going on with that?" Right? So yeah, I will sign the bill of the hat. I will sign Think under FinkedIn, right? So that's where we're
Mm,
going.
that's awesome. And so tell us what's happening. Our friend Anna Morgan is putting together her. Is it the first time she's doing her Evolve?
Yeah, so it's the first time for Evolve, and this is going to be, you labeled it as an unconference, and I don't think that there could be any closer comparison to an unconference as to what Anna is cooking up. Anna is bringing together everything that has been missing at a conference from motivational speakers who are going to be there to help us evolve and to go from where we are in 2024 to 2025. Maybe I'm giving out too many details. I don't know if I'm giving out too many details. Anna
Well,
will
it's we're
in
not
a
going to be
minute.
giving too much of a detail, so we should just kind of give as much as you feel appropriate without Anna getting upset. We
So
don't
I
want
will
to piss
be
her off.
there.
But
I
it's
will
fine.
be talking about geo arbitrage, skill
Okay.
liquidity. I will be talking about how you can use Perplexity AI to backdoor LinkedIn because that's my thing. I'll be showing those skills off. I'm genuinely really excited to be pulling this conference together and helping Anna. I mean, like literally, she was texting me this morning about what we've got to do from a promo perspective to get the word out. And I think that one of the things that you're doing today by elevating all the voices in our community, that's one of the things that Anna really wants to get to at this
Mm.
conference. She's got some people who've never presented live who are going to be presenting live for the first time. And I think that that's going to really help accentuate what's going on in the market in 2025 and 2026 as we raise new voices, as we hear new sounds, as we hear new verbiage about what is happening in our TA and HR
Well,
worlds.
let's give it one little alpha. First of all, I love this idea. I love the idea of putting new voices on the stage, or folks that really don't get the opportunity to speak much at some of these larger conferences, because that's what's really about. It's my favorite part of diversity of the D is diversity of mindset and thoughts, right? So when you give folks an opportunity to come up on stage to talk about and give them a shot. Listen, if I didn't get my first shot speaking on stage, like you would never do it. You have to. Someone has to give you that first shot. Otherwise, you're never going to get experience. And that's what I think is fantastic about it.
So that's the problem with our industry, is that once you get on the stage, you're always on the stage. There's always this expectation that you're going to present. You know, when I went to RecFest, my first RecFest, I didn't present. I just went around and I enjoyed the event, right? Like, it was such a different experience for me. And so when you're not presenting at an event, there is the opportunity for you to get into the groups and to really kind of do heavy lifting. It's serendipitous. I mean, that's one of the ways that Aaron Matthew and I became fast friends. Shout out to Aaron. Aaron, rock on this morning. Speaking of rocking on, I do want to shout out Mr. Goldberg, who
Mikey Goldberg in the house.
Michael Goldberg, everybody, is in Indianapolis today, and he has texted me that it is 90
degrees. Dallas. He's from Dallas, though. He's a Dallas staple.
He's from Dallas, but he's like,
when I think of Dallas, I think of Craig Fisher and Michael Goldberg. That's all I think about.
You don't think about barbecue?
No, I think of Austin for barbecue.
Okay, you're twisted. You're twisted. You don't like stuffing. You think Austin first or barbecue. Adam, when you come to Anna's event, I'm going to take you to a place that has brisket that is better than anything in Austin, Texas.
Okay. Well, I'll wait for my invite. I think it got lost in the mail, but I'll keep an eye out for the invite.
Okay, you got an invitation. You, me, barbecue 3 days that week. Let's go.
Atlanta, everybody. Brian, where can folks find out about this conference? I mean, we got to plug it.
You can find more information on Career BFF, which is Anna Morgan's website. You can find out details there. You can follow Anna online. That's Anna, ANNA, Morgan, MORGAN. I am part of Anna's Army. And if you want to be at this event and for some reason you can't make it, I'm giving out an extra special holiday present right now.
What?
I will pay for somebody's ticket to attend this event. That's $299. I got it. It's on me.
What?
Let's effing go. Let's ride. Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa. Let's go.
Brian Finkton, Finkmaster in the house. Brian, I want to thank you so much for your allyship, your friendship, and this is going to be a great conference. Everyone check out Career BFF. Connect with Brian. Connect with Anna. Learn more. Brian, we appreciate you. Happy holidays, and we'll see you soon.
Let's go.
Let's kick it. It's time for the Global Report. Could it be now, Lynn? Did you do something with your hair today?
What?
Did you do something different with your hair today?
I put it back.
Oh, me too. Look, I have a man bun. I put my hair back too.
Yeah, I was just like one of those days. I'm like, no, we're going in all in today. Put the hair back. Right.
Maybe I'll do a show with my hair down. I did that with my daughter last night. Pretty fun. It's kind of goth or early mid 90s. It's not a great look. But anyway, what's happening? What's shaking, bacon?
There is a lot of crap going on in the world right now.
Oi, as my people say. What's happening?
Yeah. So here's what I want to talk about today. So we've been doing a lot of talking about, as Ben Eubanks calls them, sit-down jobs, right? Because we're in them, we operate around them a lot. We have a lot of conversation about what it's like in these kind of what we call kind of those professional layer jobs. And yes, we know that's been difficult and challenging. There's a lot going on there. I want to take a peek under the covers of some trends we're starting to see bubbling up to the surface and what, again, Ben calls stand-up jobs, right? So these are people who are like making the world operate on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, they keep it moving.
They keep it moving. And there is just a lot of angst going on at the moment. I want to talk about things that just happened this month. So you can get kind of a sense of how globally we've got kind of an undercurrent of angsty concern.
Yeah, let's talk about our friends up north in Canada. What's happening up there with their post-strike?
Oh, dear Lord. Okay, so if people who don't know this, Canada has challenges too, people.
No.
I know. God forbid we talk about our friends up north. But listen, their postal workers walked out on November 15th. They said they had unsafe working conditions, there were stagnant wages, kind of all those standard things are not working for us moments. It disrupted mail service nationwide. It just had huge implications publicly.
You know what's interesting too, even in this day and age, mail is so important, the postal service too. Like obviously when things went from, I mean, email was the biggest disruptor to the postal service, big time, obviously, but people still send stuff by mail and they rely on it, right? Especially rural areas, right? There's still mail. Certain things have to be sent physically.
Right, and we forget about this, right? I mean, I forget about it all the time. I even forget to go pick up my mail half the time because there's nothing.
I like checking the mail. I'm old school. I like going to the mailbox. I like being surprised by the crap and the bills that come in.
Yeah, yes, that's it. I don't. The only people who are sending me crap in my mailbox are people who could not get a hold of me virtually, and that's because I didn't want to talk to them.
Yeah,
that's in my mailbox. So,
well, I mean, there's more than that. I mean, globally too. I mean, you have the Canadian postal strike. What's happening? Italian.
okay,
I've been
the
caught.
Italian.
I've been caught in one of these. I forgot what they call it. I've been caught in a pop-up strike in an Italian airport and a French airport, and they were awful. They did like a 3-hour strike. It screwed everything up, and they know what they're doing because that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they picked the exact moment to do it on, right? So they had 2 significant strikes in this last month. One, a 24-hour local transport stoppage on November 8th, and a general strike on November 29th. Again, they know what they're doing. They pop them up at these very specific moments. If you have ever, I mean, I used to live in Europe and spend lots of time spending my weekends, kind of a little quick weekend trip over to Paris, right? I know, I'm super fancy. However, go wandering around. I always feel bad, right, for the people who like plan their big life trip and they show up at the Louvre and it's like they're all on strike. It's not happening today. But this happens constantly. So they use, particularly in Europe, the labor movement is really good at leveraging these real key spike moments to create visibility, right? Little angst, a little visibility. Okay, we don't like that anymore. Let's go see what we can fix in that space. But it's not just overseas. We're seeing it happen now in the U.S. more as well. So
yeah, the hotel strike, right?
Yeah. So there, U.S. hotel workers striked in Boston, San Francisco, Seattle, all along these same things. Poor wages.
Towels for you. No fresh towels for you.
Yep, poor wages,
no housekeeping
conditions, right? But it's all similar messaging that we're hearing here, right? There is a lot of just overall frustration about rising costs that are not wages that are not keeping up with them, a kind of dismissal of what it takes to do these jobs on a day-to-day basis, and people are really trying to hone into this, and it's going to be a challenge for us. And consequently, we don't always think about the long-term implications. But you mentioned the mail strike issue, right? So people are still using their mail, right? They need to be able to have access and get to it. It also, when we have transportation issues, we're going to start having global supply chain issues. Anybody feel like going back to COVID global supply issues again?
Oh, that was fun. We were doing construction on our kitchen, and we had a door come from China, and it literally took a year. It took a year, and then when it got there, this is the best part. It was hinged wrong. We had to get a new one. The door was wrong. It screwed everything. We literally waited 2 years between the time we ordered it to the install. It was 2 years.
Yeah, right.
Thank God we had another door in our front door. You know, we had our old door, but otherwise, it was painful.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. So what does this mean? Like, what are we looking at in 2025? I mean, it's an effective way for work side. I mean, like it's an effective way to disrupt and get your voice heard as a group of workers.
It absolutely is. And I think we just need to be aware of that. But I think that what we need to think about is the underlying reason of why is this happening, right? There is, we are in I call it kind of the perfect storm moment. You have economic disruption, high levels of massive migration happening across the globe. You have changes in what work means, how work is done, how much technology is supporting work. All these things are happening simultaneously. And you have an entire population of individuals in these stand-up roles who are now struggling to find what does tomorrow look like, and how do they survive today. And it's going to get louder, I think, and more pervasive. And we shouldn't be surprised by it. I mean, we need to be thinking forward about it, right? As sitting in the TA space, we need to be thinking about what are the consequences to the ability to manage and put people into roles that are going to be sustainable and long term. How do we transition people who are going to have to operate in these multi-job gig sorts of environments? What does that look like for them? And how do we do it in a way that allows them to survive day to day?
There's a lot going on here. It's fascinating. It's also how it's going to affect, the U.S. workers too, when we think about different roles that are unions or uh, industries that are trying to unionize.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you, I mean, have you heard about the potential Amazon strike?
Uh-oh. Please fill
Right.
us in.
Right. So there is I think there are about 20 different locations who are looking at setting up, very much like we just talked about with the Italians and the French who do this very often, one of these pop-up strikes during the heavy delivery and shopping season that's coming up. It's a potential, right? And what they're saying is very much the same thing that we're hearing across the globe, which is, yes, I may be here to do a job, but you have to pay me something that I can live off of.
Yeah, working wages. We appreciate that. Any more key takeaways before we keep this one rolling?
I think the biggest thing to think forward here is I think we got to keep our eyes open. We got to be watching these larger economic trends, these larger consequences, and be thinking about what does that mean to how we start building out our strategies going forward. It's not going to be like it was 3 years ago. I just don't think we're going to see that same world again.
Fascinating. Elaine, what's your favorite Thanksgiving dish?
Okay, this is going to sound silly. It is pearled onions, creamed pearled onions. It's my aunt used to make. I know people love it or hate it.
What is that for anyone out there? Not the little onions you're talking about, right?
The little ones. Yeah.
Oh, I love those.
Pearled onions, creamed, lovely with a lovely cream, a little Parmesan cheese, and they're very good. Lovely.
You might have to send me that recipe, and I'll have my mother-in-law or a nanny make that. They both like trying new. I love pearlized onions. My not Thanksgiving related, but again talking about my Eastern European descent.
Yeah.
I love anything pickled. Have you had pickled watermelon?
No,
It is so good.
Watermelon?
Pickled watermelon is delicious. Pickled mushrooms are delicious. Pickled pickles are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. All over that. That's like an Italian charcuterie board dream, right? Pickled mushrooms, little.
But the pickled watermelon is one of those things you don't think about from a flavor profile. But let me tell you something. There's like properly done, and the watermelon has to be in season. That's a big thing because it can't be like early or late season watermelon.
Yeah, you're starting to see the look on my face. I'm immediately starting going through all of the ways and how do you even pickle watermelon? I'm on the hunt now. I'm going to figure this one out, and maybe that goes onto the Christmas cooking bonanza because we can get one out here still in Arizona. We're it's not like.
I love it. So let's keep this show rolling. You can catch Elaine every Tuesday with the Smart Recruiters Global Report. Elaine, where are we going to hang out? We're going to hang out. We next in Vegas. When are we hanging out? TA week. Where are you going to be?
Oh, geez, I don't know where I'm going to be. Listen, we're playing a big company thing, so that's happening in February. I think that I'm probably going to swing into Transform, but it may not be the whole crew. Maybe me and a couple of friends.
Well, we're looking forward to it. Everyone, please check out the Global Report. Our friends over at Smart Recruiters, we appreciate our partnership. Elaine, thank you and have a great week.
You too.
Who could it be? Who the heck is that guy?
I was going to do a bunch of ho-ho-hos, but I don't quite have the beard for it.
You got the beard. Come on, you can do it.
Oh, it's our friend Mike Chaffey over at ERIN. What's happening, Mike?
You would think I might be at the North Pole with all these decorations and gifts
It is beautiful
piling around us. And that's because we're doing a toy drive for Toys for Tots. And everyone listening has the opportunity right now to donate shoes and sloths, apparently.
Yes. I rock these all. Well, Mike, for anybody who is first time tuning to our show who has no clue what ERIN is, give a quick little shout out. What do you guys do?
We're the largest purchasers of red pumas.
The single largest purchaser of red pumas.
And fun fact, before I tell you what we actually do, Evan White has been blocked from buying more pumas on puma.com. Real story, he cannot purchase anymore. They've put limits on those shoes. So
why though? Why would they do that? He's such a.
It's a limit.
The best is he goes to a conference. He goes, guys, imagine this. Imagine you walk in and every single person is wearing red pumas. We can make that happen real quick.
How many pairs of red pumas do you think you guys have ordered?
Well, we've ordered. I mean, I don't know. We've got to be pushing near 60 to 100 at this point. But when he went to order, it said it's limited to 11 pairs per customer, which is a new alert. So you can't buy
11. Where'd they come up with the 11? Right? Like
I don't
that's
know. I think
our number.
somebody was creating their website and they're like, nobody's ever going to purchase that many of one pair of shoes, and here we are.
But why? Like, who cares? They should buy all of them, unless he's reselling them. I know some kind of weird dark underweb market for red Pumas.
Well, we're definitely throwing the algorithms off. Amazon thinks there's a lot more Pumas to be bought. But on that note, ERIN is an employee referral platform, and we help streamline referrals. And right now on erinapp.com/toys, we are doing a holiday toy drive.
Yeah, the Sloths for Sloths program. Tell us about it. How can people get involved?
Look at all the sloths in that tree too, right? So as every time somebody sends us a toy, we're donating at least one sloth and probably a toy as well. All you have to do is go to erinapp.com/toys. I think you could scan that QR code right there.
And the QR code. Adam, point up. You got to point
up. We made it super easy. We have an Amazon wish list you can order right from. It's going to shoot right to our office. We're going to add it to this ever-growing stack of pretty awesome stuff.
Look
and
at
then
that.
I believe we have 2 weeks left. So in 2 weeks, we're going to take it all down to hang out with Jerome Bettis and put it on his bus.
The bus. Let's go.
He's a Pittsburgh staple. I've had some other friends that have known him for a long time. He's just a great guy.
Oh, I mean, it's like childhood hero, right? I mean, who? That's like one person that nobody hates in the entire world, right?
Kind of like Joel.
Yeah, Joel.
No.
It's two people. It goes Jerome Bettis, Joel Alge in my book. No one can hate.
And anyone that donates right now during the broadcast here is going to get one of these awesome purple Acorn hats.
Woo!
I got
one.
I didn't wear my shirt. I didn't wear my hat.
Do you guys have one of these?
Yeah, I got one.
I have it. I'm going to be rocking it.
I'm wearing it.
I'm not a hat guy. I don't really pull it off as well as I would like to pull it off.
You look amazing.
Yeah.
Paz Claus is coming to town this year.
How about now? Great. It's like an elf.
we're gonna make an emoji out of that one. Well, Mike, we want to thank you and our friends over at ERIN, not just for your partnership, but your generosity and caring for those this holiday season who need a little bit extra help. And that's what it's all about. It's a season of giving, folks. So please click on that QR code above. Donate, help out. That's what it's all about. Mike, thank you to you and the team over at ERIN. Appreciate you.
Thanks, Mike.
Bye for now. Bye.
Judson, welcome to the show. Good to have you here. And who is this?
This is our puppy Harley, who doesn't like if he's not the center of attention. So,
oh, Harley, you should have had Harley just show up.
Yeah,
and then I would have been totally thrown off.
He is a Cavapoo, otherwise known as the teddy bear breed, because he literally looks like a living teddy bear.
Oh my gosh! What don't we have a section for? We have a slot for pets. It's I don't know if we're still doing that, but we need to bring it back. But Judson, welcome to the show. It's good to have you here. Why don't you give everyone a quick intro on who you are and what you do, and we'll get into the segment.
Sure. My name is Judson Laipply. I've been a professional speaker for the last 25 years. So I finished graduate school in 2000 and pretty much was speaking while I was in graduate school and then decided to make a go of it. So I've been very fortunate. And my biggest claim to fame is I had the world's first viral video of all time. In 2006, a performance piece that I do at the end of my shows called The Evolution of Dance was the first video on YouTube to hit 25, 50, and 100 million views.
And how many views is it at right now?
I think it's around about 315 million views, I think. It's kind of fallen off in the last few years. Once music videos got onto the platform, those became kind of the dominant force on YouTube.
I mean, that's like a 250 million views. And I'm sure it had shares all over social as well, which you can't even add in. But what was it like having at that time a viral video, like being one of the first viral videos? Like, how much of an impact did that make in what you do?
It was very surreal. You know, in 2006, it's hard. It seems like not that long ago, but we're running up on the 19th anniversary coming up this spring. And a lot of people don't remember what the landscape on the internet was like in 2006. You know, YouTube's brilliance lied in its ability to make it easy to share video. You could just send a link. Before that, you couldn't really share video. There was no way for people to share video other than to email an entire file when a lot of people still had dial-up. So, you would have to wait 3 hours in order to watch a 2-minute video. So when it started going viral, it was kind of a weird sensation because it really hadn't happened before on that large of a scale. For me, it was very wonderful because I was transitioning out of the college and youth market as far as who I was primarily speaking to, and trying to move into the corporate and association market. And I just got millions and millions of dollars of free publicity for essentially a 4 to 5 year run, which for the life of a viral video is eons. Today, the life of a viral video, a viral anything is measured in hours or days. And back then it was measured in years.
Yeah. I mean, I think about like nowadays, I think about some of the videos that have gone viral recently. There's a short shelf time with them, and you got to capitalize really, really quick. And it's hard because it's like you don't expect it. So to have a video that just keeps on going for that amount of time is amazing. And I even think too, that's like before like brand deals and things like that would have even been a thing. So what about like I guess like the dopamine rush? Like what was that like? Because I just think like I've gone viral a few times, like not to 300 million level, but like what's that dopamine like?
I mean, again, it's hard to. It had never happened before. So, now when people want to try to go viral now. So you've got this kind of mix of people trying to do things to go viral and then the things that just happen organically. And back then it was just kind of, at first it was almost like people were apologetic, in that I would get emails from people that I knew and said, "Hey, I don't know if you know this or not. Somebody just emailed me a link to a video and it's you. Like, are you okay with that?" Or they would ask, "Can I share this with people?" And so, in the early 2000s, if someone said, "Hey, Joel, I just saw a video of you on the internet,"
Yeah,
like your first reaction would be like, "Wait, what? There is? Like,
totally.
what is it of?" Versus now you're like, "Here, please watch my stuff." So it was awesome. All of the stuff that was happening, and it was kind of this slow buildup of different things that, I got a call from the producers at the Today Show was probably the first real, okay, this is something different. That happened about 4 or 5 weeks after everything kind of started rolling. And I didn't go on the show for a long time, but then you start getting calls from other shows and other people reaching out and things like that. And it was just one thing after the other, but it was spread out over a long period of time versus I think today, if you have something viral, there's almost like a rush where everybody wants a piece of you
Yeah,
for a week. And then they're like, "Okay, what's the next thing?"
100%. What about like obviously you didn't plan this, it happened unexpectedly. So like how did you what did you do from there, and like what did you do to kind of go on from this moment and like build on that and build on the momentum from the viral video?
Yeah, I was very, very lucky in that I had already been speaking. I knew what I wanted to do when I was in high school. I knew I wanted to be a professional speaker. My parents are big fans of a guy named Zig Ziglar and some of the other traditional motivational leadership speakers. And I always wanted to follow that path. So for me, it was fortunate that I had been speaking for about 6 years. I had been performing the dance for about 5 when it all went viral. So I had a good idea of who I was and where I wanted to go. I was 30.
Amazing. So you're already a keynote speaker.
So I'm
and then
already speaking, and now I basically got a rocket ship as far as just career goes. And that was really, really impactful for me because there were opportunities that came up that had I been younger, I might have said, "Ooh, maybe I should go see what that will lead to." And I
have
think
you
that's what happens to a lot of people when they have a viral moment. If they don't know who they are and where they're going, and they don't have their kind of personal path spread before them, they end up trying to pivot towards things that they don't have a foundation for. I got called, and again, this is not to say that it would have ever worked out, but I had people reaching out and saying, "Oh, do you have scripts for sitcoms? Have you ever thought about being like?" Everybody wants a piece of you, and so they're asking you, "Who are you? What do you have? Do you want to come in for a meeting?" And I said no to a lot of things that didn't align with where I wanted to go. And I think that was a huge benefit to me being a little bit older and having a good idea of where I wanted to go so that I didn't try to, the best example right now is probably a lot of people have mentioned or talked about the Hawk 2 girl and that whole thing. And she has been one of the few in the last couple of years who has actually been able to capitalize on a very, very brief moment of virality and has started to try and establish a business. And we'll see where it leads after a few years.
Yeah, look, I think I was going to use that example too, so I'm glad you brought that up. But what about if you like, so you wrote a book as well, and it seems like it seems like everything is kind of in line with the viral videos. So I guess like how would things have been different, do you think, if the video hadn't gone viral? Like, do you ever think about that? Like, how would you still be on the same trajectory? Like, maybe if the video hadn't gone as viral, would you still have like written the book? Like, I'm curious, like, if you think about that, if you hadn't got that virality with the 300 million views.
I would still be doing what I'm doing. I think the biggest difference is I probably would have had, I mean, in all honesty, I would have had to work a little harder. One of the things that, and this is what's so fascinating just about human nature as well, is the things that impress people, or the speed to create competency or confidence in utilizing a service or a skill that somebody has. From a marketing standpoint, we see so many things like, an Amazon bestseller, or New York Times bestseller, or USA Today bestseller. Each one of those three things carries different weight in the viewpoint of people looking at it. We're always trying to establish this, you can trust that I'm going to deliver what it is that I say I'm going to do. And having a video that goes viral, whether it makes me a better speaker or not, just immediately, for some reason, gives people this confidence. Okay, they're probably going to be good.
Yep, 100. Have you gone viral since the viral moment?
Not in the same way. I mean, that's the other side of it. I'll never be able to have anything that will remotely touch what that was or did.
Wow, what a moment. I mean, I love this so much. Well, I think what we need to do next is we need to absolutely recreate this moment. So I think we should totally do this. I think we should all get down and do our dance. Even Adam. I think Adam needs to just take off his shirt right now. Why don't we recreate this moment? Let's go, everybody. Let's do a viral dance. Let's show us what you got, Alin. I want to see.
Do we need music? What are we doing?
You go. Yeah, where's the music, guys? Come on, we gotta go.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9,
yeah,
8,
Yeah.
7,
Yeah.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Oh yeah.
Uh-oh, that dog is just rocking out over there. Yeah. Welcome to the morning show.
Morning show. Alin's got the moves. We see those are transform. Let's go.
Transform the moves. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judson Laipply.
Oh, look at that move. I'm gonna do that.
Let's go.
Oh, look at that. I feel like this guy's done that before.
Yeah.
Wow, what a way to get the blood flowing on a Tuesday morning.
Laura Gassman said, "What's happening? A dance party. That's what's happening."
Oh yeah, feel that bass in your face. Tuesday morning, HR morning show coming at you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Judson Laipply in the house. Go watch the video. Let's get it up to 400 million this morning. I'm
8 billion.
to go.
8 billion. He's got to beat Mr. Beast. That's what we got to do there. Who?
Mr. Who? I never heard of that guy.
My friend Jimmy. Shout out to my friend Jimmy over there.
Well, Judson, it's been a pleasure, guys. Great dance moves. Why don't we move on to the next segment in the show? Who do we have?
Thank you.
Leads. Mark Chaffey in the house. What is happening, my man?
Oh my God, this is like all my favorite people in HR tech getting together and dancing. I'm so here for this. This is the energy I came for.
I want to see your dance moves.
Do I not get the little music coming back? Come on, like we go an a cappella dancing. What are we going for?
Production, let's bring it back. Oh yeah. outcome-based pricing. We're going to talk about
That's a segue we came for. That's a segue we came for.
That is right. That is right. Why don't you give us a quick intro, Mark? Who are you? What do you do? What is Hackajob? Why don't you get us up to speed?
Yeah, for sure. My name's Mark Chaffey. I'm the co-founder and CEO of Hackajob. Hackajob's a business that we founded 10 years ago now. Crazy that it's been 10 years. And we are a global hiring platform for tech workers. So we help predominantly larger organizations engage, source, screen, hire technical talent, whether they be perm, contingent, across the US, India, and the UK. I'm in New York today. We've actually just moved offices. Which is exciting. Yeah, that's a little bit about me.
So you guys just made a huge announcement about outcome-based pricing. So why don't you get us up to speed? Like, what is that? Where did it come from? And I love it, by the way. And I got some questions about it. But why don't you get us up to speed on what exactly that is?
Yeah, well, maybe a quick history lesson for those listening. If we think about since recruitment's come online, the different ways that vendors have tried to monetize, it's been really interesting, right? Initially, we had job boards, Monster, etc., where you would spray and pray, right? You would like post an application up there and just pray that you get, relevant people come in. Then you had the programmatics come along and Indeed, and they, tried to do the cost per click model, and more recently the cost per apply model. And I think the challenge with all of these models is it doesn't necessarily align the value that the customer is looking for with the value that you deliver. And I think this has just become even more exaggerated in the last 18 months with all of the AI apply tools out there. And, I spend the vast majority of my time with customers. All we hear from customers is that we're inundated with mostly completely irrelevant applications. And, is there a better way to do it? And so I think that the whole industry is going to be here in the next 12 to 24 months. I don't think customers are going to be willing to pay for noise, pay for irrelevance. So we took the bold decision last week to launch what we call outcome-based pricing, where on Hackajob, our customers will only ever pay for a qualified and engaged candidate. And we can get into more about what that means.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because I hear that a lot, right? Like qualified candidates. So how do you break that down? How do you ensure that? How are you thinking about talking about the AI apply tools? I think that the automatic apply tools are one tool, but I'm also seeing these resume builders, and the tools seem to be getting smarter where they can match up things. So how do you approach that? Those types of nuances.
Yeah, great question. So there's 3 layers to our kind of qualified and engaged process. At firstly, a candidate will sign up to Hackajob, and they're only allowed to have one profile. So we instantly get rid of this challenge where you have a custom resume based on the job description that's generated by AI. And when they sign up, we qualify them across 3 different vectors. So we have their job fit qualification. This is understanding stuff like your visa status, your salary expectations, your location preferences, your seniority, your education background. We'll then have a technical validation where we're understanding what are the technical skills that this individual has, where do they have demonstrable experience of that. And then there is an optional DE&I questionnaire that about 80% of our users complete, which gives us D&I data across 7 different categories, including neurodiversity, gender, ethnicity, veteran status, etc. So that's kind of level 1 of the qualification, right? Which already you know so much more about a candidate than what you would do on a LinkedIn and Indeed, etc. Layer 2.
Quick question: how do you get people willing? How are people willing to give this information up? Like, how do you get them to give this information up?
Yeah, it's a great question. It's something that we've A/B tested a lot. We now have like a 78% completion rate from somebody starting this process to finishing this process. So it's pretty good in the grand scheme of things. And I think the reason being is if you look at Hackajob, it's all about candidate experience. Once you put this effort in up front, which you can probably do in under 10 minutes, you then sit back and you don't apply for jobs anymore. Companies apply to you. And because we flipped that model, right, where actually you're not just sending out hundreds of irrelevant applications, and because we've got so much data on what you're looking for, you're only getting pitched by really relevant companies. So the kind of engagement and the relevancy creates this incredible candidate experience where candidates reply to 90% of the messages they receive, and they accept 70% of the messages they will receive. So because we've done a lot of work on the candidate experience side post sign up, people are willing to put that upfront effort in.
I love it. It makes sense. So you got that first tier, and you're about to get into the second tier of qualifications here.
Yeah, so second tier is where it gets really exciting with Hackajob Intelligence, which is our LLM-based matching platform. So we've been able to fine-tune some of our own language models over the last kind of 18 months. We've got more than 50 million unique data points on our users, jobs, companies. And if you think about what an LLM is, it just means a computer can understand natural language and can reason in natural language. And if you think about how us as humans, as us as recruiters kind of read a resume, right, we're always adding so much more context behind what somebody is saying. When somebody says, hey, I was the first senior software engineer inside this organization, responsible for end-to-end deployment, et cetera, I'm adding a lot of context into that. And so Hacker Job Intelligence will then reason with you why this person is a good fit based on your requirements. So you have the explainability piece in there, which is really, really important. To me, explainability in any kind of matching system is really key. And
So-
then go for it.
I was gonna ask you. So where did this idea come from? Like, if you had, is this from like existing clients? Like, where do you think this kind of need came from?
For Hacker Job Intelligence specifically, we've always been kind of this belief of like humans and machines in the recruitment process. Like, you've got to leverage both. And what do humans do really well, and what do machines do really well, or computers do really well? And our view is that computers just are unbelievable, or are at processing large amounts of data and reasoning with that. The challenge has been that online recruitment has just relied on keywords. I just stuff my resume full of keywords. A system will match me based on those keywords and come back to you. We ran an internal hackathon about 18 months ago now, after ChatGPT hype, and saw that actually now you can match talent to jobs far beyond keywords because LLMs can reason natural language. So a computer can now read a resume like a human can and reason back to you. And that's really interesting when you get into some very specific use cases, because if you speak to any internal recruiter, when they do tech sourcing, it is just stuffing full these keywords, but there's always new languages, there's always new tools, there's always new frameworks. Hacker Job Intelligence is able to join the dots. So let's say I'm looking for a machine learning engineer with cloud computing. Hacker Job Intelligence might surface a candidate that knows AWS SageMaker. You never said you were looking for that, but it can reason that AWS is a cloud computing tool, SageMaker is an ML tool. You blend those two together, this candidate's a good fit for the role. So you're able to discover talent in ways that you weren't able to with computers before.
How important would you say, like, for recruiters, you still need to be a subject matter expert, right? Like, how important is that? Or does it become even more important in this age?
I think that it is going to become less important, and I think but hear me out on this. A subject matter expert in the domain in which you recruit, and why I say that is two reasons. One, there's just more pressure on TA teams than there ever has been. We live in this kind of boom and bust world of TA, right? Over the last 4 or 5 years, we've been in big demand, furloughed, big demand, laid off, etc. I think to protect ourselves, we need to be able to be more versatile. I think the same is true of perm and contingent hiring. I was just literally on the customer right before this call, and they were talking about, we want total talent management, perm and contingent falling under TA. Contingent shouldn't sit under procurement, which we absolutely believe in. And I think tools like Hacker Job Intelligence can turn a non-specialist tech recruiter into a good amount of knowledge. Now, where do I think, Joel, we absolutely have to double down as subject matter experts is in the job, in the company, the hiring manager, because the human-to-human relationship with the candidate is going to be more important than ever. And you need to have a really compelling pitch on why, somebody that's in high demand should come and join your organization. And I think that's where we're going to need to double down as subject matter experts.
Yeah, some more emotional intelligence, understanding people, understanding the team, understanding the people versus just the keywords and that. Because obviously the tech's going to take care of that. So you're gonna be interviewing with the one and only Hung Lee coming up. Tell me about that interview. When is it coming? And where can people find info on that? And what are you guys going to be chatting about?
Yeah, so it's this Thursday. It's 10 a.m. ET, 7 a.m. PT, 3 p.m. for our friends over in Europe. It's fun doing this globally, isn't it? I have no idea what time that is in India. I'm sorry. And so look, Hung's a legend. I've known the guy for 10 years. And we actually, were chatting yesterday about what we're going to talk about. We're going to do reviewing Hung's 2024 predictions, of which he got none right. So he's going to go into the fact that he got none of his predictions right.
Wow.
Which is great. But it's a bit more nuanced than that, but that was his statement. He's such a funny man. We're going to be talking about crabs, and I'm not giving away the sneak peek there, but we're going to be talking about crabs. But actually, more interestingly is, we're going to be talking about, with the rise of a lot of these AI tools, does every online vendor effectively become a staffing agency? And, Indeed obviously made that announcement, I don't know what it was, 6 months ago now, 7 months ago, where they're looking really big into staffing. LinkedIn's looking into staffing, and it was interesting. Doug, the CEO of Adzuna, when we launched outcome-based pricing last week, was like, why are you not charging at the higher level? Why are you at this qualified candidate level, which we've got some thoughts on. So we're going to be digging into that a lot, which I think is a really interesting hypothesis from Hung. We're going to be looking at different pricing models for 2025 and what, Hung predicts will happen. And then just, where do we land from a macro perspective, right? If we're all crystal balling, it's obviously been a funky 24 months. What does next year look like? We have a little bit more stability, hopefully, across Europe and the US from a political landscape. So, does that give us a little bit more confidence? So it's going to be fun. We've had over 550 people register already, which is our biggest LinkedIn Live so far. So yeah, definitely join it if you haven't already.
And is that going to be on the HackerJob page? Is that going to be your page? Whose page is that on?
It'll be hosted on HackerJob, myself, Hung, and Samba 2, our legendary VP of Talent Solutions as well. So yeah, any of us, you can come onto our LinkedIn and you'll see it there.
All right. Right. So where can people find out more about HackerJob, and where can people connect with you, Mark?
Yeah, hackerjob.com. We've got a whole piece in there about outcome-based pricing, so definitely check it out. We offer completely free 30-day trials to test the solution. There is no strings attached whatsoever. So we'd love to give people the keys and hear feedback. And then I am most active on LinkedIn, so hit me up on LinkedIn. Always.
You're on Snapchat too, don't lie.
I wish, dude. I wish I was young enough to be on Snapchat or TikTok, man. Instagram Reels. I'm here for the millennials, man. I'm not cool enough for Snapchat or TikTok, unfortunately.
It's all good. All right. Well, Mark Chaffey is in the house. Go connect with Mark. Go look up HackerJob and stay tuned for that interview with Hung Lee, December 5th. All those time zones we mentioned. I'm not going to repeat them again. But go sign up for that live. I can't wait to see what those predictions are, what you guys are talking about. And Mark, it's been a pleasure. We will talk to you soon.
Joe, you're a legend. Appreciate it, man. Chat soon.
Right, brother. Take care.
Cheers.
Yo!
You got me. All right, there we go. So this is a good one. This is a good question, right? Are you looking to quit your job to start a business in 2025? Adam, what do you think? Where do you land with this?
So I see the dark intention behind your poll here, so I'm not going to go there. But what I'm trying to say is, how many people are quitting versus, like, there's one thing to start a side business if you're let go, if you're out of work, that's one thing. But actually quitting in this day and age, a solid paycheck if you're enjoying it, I'm not even going to touch this one with a 10-foot pole.
Why not? Well, what do you think the results were?
I think that you're going to have a lot of people saying no, but I wish I could. I'm going to say 68% say no, but I wish I could.
Wow, 68%. All right. Well, look, I did quit my job to start a business, so it can be done.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you did the same thing. So I don't know why you think it's such a ridiculous idea. What advice would you have for people?
Industry specific, right? Like I quit working at a search firm to go out on my own and do the same thing. It's a different industry because it's a much easier transition in our industry to do your own thing. If I'm an accountant, am I leaving to be a freelance accountant? So I think it's a little bit heavier lift, but I'm going to go 68% say no, but I wish I could. I'm going to stick to my.
All right. Well, before we go to the results, what advice do you have for anyone that's thinking of like quitting their job to start their own business? What advice would you give?
I would say do your due diligence first and try to beef up as much biz dev as possible to really make sure that you know what you're getting yourself into. I would also ensure that you have a minimum 6-month financial runway before you quit any paid gig.
All right. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Why don't we show the results on the poll? Let's see. He said 68%. Oh.
Well, if you add no plus no, but I wanted to, then I'm winning.
Well,
it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. So, does that surprise you though that a third of people are saying yes to this? Like a third of people are saying yes. I want to quit my job and start.
I think it's more aspirational that they'd really want to.
So why wouldn't they just go no, but I wish I could?
I don't know, because people just click on things because they like you when you force them to do it.
Oh wow, there we have it. All right, so what do we have? So Dallin said, got laid off in Halloween. Glad I started my own thing last year.
There you go.
Looking can be put into a variety of buckets. Oh, you know what?
Heather is always got my back.
No, you know what? Every single person. I just want to say,
Heather's my girl.
Whenever I put a poll up, people start going, "Well, you could have asked it like this." Look, you get like one chance, okay, with a poll. Okay,
Bum, bum,
and
bum.
it's like you got
Choose
vomit on
wisely.
LinkedIn.
Choose wisely, people. When you got to take Joel's poll seriously, folks. If we're going to talk about it on the air, you need to be serious. So I hope the next poll that goes up that people vote on, take it seriously because we're going to talk about it on the air. Don't dilute the conversation.
My next poll is do you have a side hustle? I need to get better with them. No, I did one on remote work too. Adam always loves that one. Rona said, save money before you do it. Get comfortable with selling. Look, for me, the big thing is, and this is what, guys, I talk about this all the time. Build that personal brand online, build the brand, start having something. Because the marketing that you could get if you have an online presence, it saves you so much work. And you can build up a brand. You can build up some presence online a year before you quit your job or with your side hustle.
Agree.
You can set yourself up so nicely.
Agree
100%. So Heather said, not true. The one chance you get unvote and change your vote, you get more chances. It's still active. Oh, Heather. John Kraske in the house came to see Adam Paz, said, wow, Adam.
Wow.
Wow.
Kraske in the house. OG. John Kraske. Shout out to Odie.
Let's go. All right. Well, why don't we move on? We got another weather segment. Let's go.
Nope. We heard someone calling. I hear a phone call coming in. Shannon, welcome to the HR Morning Show. Pleasure to meet you.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Well, welcome. I'm going to switch from my snarky self because you don't know me well enough, and I don't know you to kind of bring that energy here. So, Shannon, well, I'm going to go back to standard good hosting etiquette mode here, being polite. See, Joel and I have a thing, right? We've known each other for a long time, and that's just the rapport that we have. So, Shannon, welcome to the show. If you could kindly introduce yourself, tell everyone who you are and what you do best.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So I am a spiritual director and contemplative coach, and I work for my company is called Ransacked Soul,
Ooh.
and yeah. And I work with individuals and groups and leadership teams, and I teach people spiritual practices or mindfulness. I'm a yoga instructor. I'm kind of out in the world doing lots of things. So.
I love that energy. When people don't know a lot about the pods offline, I mean, I dip my toes in that water in my personal life. It's something I deeply believe in. I am a huge believer in energy and not going full tilt on the hippy dippy spectrum, but I truly believe that energy is important. We feed off each other, and energy connects, and energy can also repel. I mean, you talk a lot about connection. If you could share, and I had an opportunity to read it, share like a little. We'll link it up, everyone. Link up Shannon's blog that we're going to talk about in a bit here. But if you could just summarize what the blog is all about.
Yeah, are you talking about the one about gratitude specifically?
Establishing connection.
The connections one. Yeah. Well, I think we absolutely live in a really disconnected world. Even our Surgeon General says that one of the biggest problems that Americans face is loneliness. Um, and it's not for lack of ways to connect, right? Obviously, even here in the technology world, we have way more ways to connect than we've ever had ever in the world. And yet we're lonelier than we've ever been, and I think what we've really lost is authentic connection. We're going so fast through our daily lives and we're just trying to get task after task done that our interactions with one another become so surface level.
Yeah.
And we're really missing not so much people, but depth with people.
I think it's a real factor of the pandemic. When it forced everyone into seclusion, there was folks that are naturally, extroverted and connectors and really thrive on the human connection. We found ways to do that. We formed our bubbles. We found other ways to connect physically and digitally, and we kept that going. But for so many folks that were kind of on the cusp of being social recluse, or this was quote unquote great in a bad way for them, where it was an enabler where they didn't have to go anywhere, they didn't have to interact with anybody. And I also saw some really interesting stats too, and I'll have to dig them up on men specifically, lack of friends and fostering those friendships and fostering those connections, which has really led to an epidemic of really terrible men's mental health issues, and it, in my opinion, all stems from the pandemic. How could we move into 2025? How can we look out for our friends? How can we pull people up and out and really be a good professional and personal friend?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because you have to want to be intentional, right? And so much of what we hear from like outside in the world is to keep up the rat race, and
Mm,
it's not working for pretty much anybody, and I think if we can start connecting with people in just like pausing for meaningful connections. How are you doing? How can I actually ask you a question and be curious about you? We're waiting. We want people to be curious about us, and we forget that people also want like us to be curious about them. And so just a small investment of talking to people and saying, "I didn't know that was your favorite hobby.
mm.
Tell me more about that," right?
Like, go deeper,
Um,
go a layer deeper.
right,
And it's not just
exactly.
asking you okay. I think asking you okay is
Right.
kind of it's almost a throwaway question. I think you have to
It
be more
is.
specific because,
Mhm,
like, most people, honestly, they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm cool. I'm fine. I'm doing all right."
mhm.
But if you actually know something about them or if you have some insight into what they might be struggling with, peel that onion back and go a layer deeper on your question. I'm gonna give an example. You know, it's been a year since you lost your brother. How are you feeling right now? How are you coping with that? Are you talking to anybody professionally? Do you have an outlet for your, you know, pent up, frustration and grieving? What? Yeah.
Sure. And even and that'll take you like that sort of thing will take you super deep, right? Like
Yeah.
diving
You
into
also
something
but you also
really.
have to be prepared for the other side. You have to be able
Mhm.
to receive it too, and not just be, "All right, cool,
Right,
great. I'll talk to you in a little bit." No, you have to be ready
right.
to make the commitment for that time, and focus. But let's shift it a little bit more on the
Mhm.
professional side about establishing
Sure.
connections, right? I think so many
Mhm,
folks there are kind of short-term transactional minded too, and not saying that you have
mhm.
to be best friends with every business relationship, but that little bit extra is going to help deepen a relationship, deepen a connection, and it goes back to that old adage, and people want to work with people that they like.
Right. Well, and I think, and part of my blog talks about this is that when we show up in specific places like work, I'm a mom, so like at my kids' school,
Mhm.
specific bubbles that we're connected to, right? So often the interactions in those places are really one dimensional, right? I'm here to work and you're here to work, and what we talk about is work. And what I know you as, who I see you as, is this person who comes to work here. And we forget that every single person we interact with is multidimensional. There is
Of
way
course.
more to their life than this one place where I see you
This
every
work
time.
thing.
And we kind of flatten out these interactions that way of like, oh, you're just this person at this job, right? And so to even let ourselves remember and imagine that this is a person with an entire life, right? That I am one very small interaction happening today in this person's entire life. This person is a sibling and maybe a parent, and maybe they're an immigrant, and that's fascinating, or so many things that we don't have a clue, because all we do and all we take time for is that one face to face
Or we'll just focus on
space.
our own objective and mission for that interaction from a business perspective. And it's so
Right.
interesting too. I make this joke with my wife all the time. I'm a recruiter, and some days
Hmm.
I have, 6, 7 candidate calls in a day, and I say I'm going on 6 or 7 blind dates a day, and in those first couple of minutes, I'm establishing a connection with the candidate. And I
Hmm.
mean, I've been doing this a long time, so I kind of have my different techniques, and I kind of feel it out. And it's not just asking about, oh, what's the weather in Atlanta? No, like it's really, hey, how's your day going? What's going on? Like I try to break the ice with them. What are
Hmm.
what are some good techniques like for a business call where you're personal but not personal? What are some things that folks
Hmm.
could kind of be mindful of?
You know, one of the things that, and probably people do this anyways, but online, that really started to happen during the pandemic, that I thought is like actually really smart, is just when you start a call saying, "Hey, tell me about where you're at, like physically,"
Mm,
right? Um, Give us the rundown of what's happening, because especially for all these people who work from home, right, it gives me an opportunity to say, without the pressure of I'm interrupting a meeting, to say, oh, my kid's in the other room because they're homesick from school today.
Right.
And um, and so if you hear noise coming in and out, that's just
Mm.
part of it, right?
Don't
And
mind
all
my
of a
cat. It
sudden,
makes weird noises.
right? And all of a sudden, you know more about my life than you did 5 minutes ago, right? Just with very small information of just who's in
That's
your space today,
that's
you
that's a
know?
that's a good pro tip for anyone out there. What's when you think about this blog and the content of it about authentic human connections, what are you fearful of? Like, what do you fear? Like, are we really continuing down this downward spiral, or are there opportunities and you see a light at the end of the tunnel for us to be better connected humans?
I think everybody desperately wants to be connected. It's like built into our DNA that we are made to be connected to one another, right? We're built for relationship. And so this epidemic really that the Surgeon General is calling it of loneliness, I mean, it's a big problem. And we see it in um, mental health, but also it has an impact on people's physical health and and that starts to take people away from all sorts of important things in their life. And I think, I don't think it's a dark, dismal thing, but it is something we need to pay attention to. And
Absolutely.
someone can't do that work for you.
Yeah.
You kind of have to figure out, like, is this a place I'm in? And what are some steps I can take to re-engage with the world?
I love it. That's fantastic. But Shannon, leave us. We're not going to end on a sour note. We're going to leave with some sunshine and rainbows here. Give us some optimism heading into 2025. What are you feeling good about in the world of connecting?
I think what makes me most hopeful about connection is that everybody really does want it. Even if you're flying so fast that it seems like nobody wants to engage, people really, really do want to be connected. And um, and I think that's the most hopeful piece because really it's as simple as just reaching out,
Hmm.
right? Because people want it. When people reach out to me, I'm like, oh my gosh, that was amazing. It feels good. It releases things in our brain that actually, um, you know, are good for our whole body and make us happier.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love it. Well, there's an important conversation, and we could talk for a long time on it. But I think it's great that you came and joined us today on the HR Morning Show. There's been a fantastic and very important chat. Where could folks find you? Where could they connect? Where could they learn more?
Yeah, you can find me at ransacksoul.com. And if you join my email list, you get updates whenever my blog comes out and
That way.
other projects that I'm working on. I also have a course, an online course called Cultivate Calm, that gives you all kinds of tools for slowing down and being more intentional in life. And I work with people one on one.
And
So
and
all
does
of
it
that is on my website.
and
Mhm.
doesn't it start with breathing? I mean, I learned I could get pretty ramped up sometime and stressed out. I think that it comes down to breathing and it comes down to slowing down. One of the things I do, a technique, whether it be during the day or at nighttime if I'm not trying sleeping, is the 4-step box breathing, where it's
Mhm.
hold it for 4 seconds, inhale for 4 seconds, exhale. And what that's going to do, it's going to physically slow your heart down. It's going to physically calm
Sure.
you down. It's going to focus. And another technique I like to use is kind of like a word association. If I find myself spiraling on a thought, I'll be like, camera, CAM here. And I'll start to kind of like
Mm-hmm.
move my
Hmm.
mind off of that. But guys, check out our blog, check out the link. Shannon, please come back to our show in 2025. I think it's an important conversation. We'd love to have you back on with the full panel here.
Yeah, I'd love to come back. Yeah,
Thank you, Shannon. I think it's time for
great.
the weather. Let's talk about weather, right? What a great transition.
Good morning, beautiful people. For this week's weather report, I wanted to touch on a topic that is on everyone's mind, balancing technology and the human touch when it comes to recruiting. And as always, we're trying something new on the weather report. So I wanted to bring an expert on to talk about this. So I want to welcome my expert, Denise Chafin. Denise is the president of Top Source Talent and is the host of Talking TA. You definitely should have that podcast on your playlist. It's a fantastic resource when it comes to talent acquisition. Denise, welcome, my friend.
Thank you, Serge. It's great to be here. And thank you for the
Well,
topic.
Yeah, I love this topic, but before we jump in, I want to know, what's your favorite thing about Thanksgiving? Is it marshmallows or is it something else? Because I know you just went through Thanksgiving. Is it stuffing?
Stuffing. Oh,
Stuffing.
stuffing and green bean casserole.
Green bean casserole. Ooh, I don't know about that, but how about we dive right into it? Because I know you often talk about keeping recruitment human. So,
Yes.
how do companies strike that balance between automation or AI and staying personal throughout the whole hiring process?
This conversation comes up constantly. At the
Yeah.
last 3 conferences I attended, it came up a lot, at what point do we I mean, we've been working with technology for a long time now, right? And we have, uh, connected with technology, to help us with, well, becoming more efficient, obviously.
Yeah.
I think that we started using technology in TA a while back, to bring us more candidates, having people apply online and utilizing some of the job boards out there to find. So, I mean, this isn't something new. It's a new type of technology. And how are we going
Okay.
to work with it, right? We want that human connection. The human connection will always be a part of talent acquisition. And I think that's one of the areas where people are getting a little sideways, is because they think it's going to replace their jobs, and AI is not going to replace our jobs. It's going to help our job. I think that somebody recommended the other day utilizing AI just for some of the simpler tasks that we need for right now. Start out small. We can start out small with AI. And I know I am. I'm using Gemini. I like Gemini. I've tried Copilot. Chat GPT is a little, I don't know, too heavy for me right now, but I do like Gemini. Gemini and I are becoming friends, and it's almost like I've hired my own personal assistant, to help me with rewriting job descriptions.
Hello. Welcome, everybody. Wow. We were talking about where tech has gone wrong. I think we are seeing tech is obviously not working for us this morning, but Adam, there he is. Is he back?
I don't know. Can you hear me? Can you see me?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can see you.
We're having some technical issues here, folks. So we apologize in advance. Well, actually, not in advance. We apologize now.
Well, okay. Look, we're talking about what? Tech. We're talking about where AI could go wrong, like the importance of being human. So what are your thoughts with that, Adam?
Well, you got to be the realist. If you're going to be human, you have to keep it real, right?
It's true. It's true. I mean, to me, I think over the last couple of years, there's obviously been massive hype with tech, and I love what Denise was saying about kind of taking things a little bit slower. And in fact, I think
it's not happening though.
No, but I actually think it is happening. I think people talk a big game right now, but I'm not necessarily seeing as many use cases. Like I got like in recruiting, there's like 3 use cases I think of that people use all the time: sourcing, phone screening, and interview transcription.
And also the outreach.
Yeah, but that's sourcing.
Oh yeah, we'll put that in there. There's a million
what
things
else?
we could do. And I think I think you kind of hit the nail on the head on those summaries there. I think to summarize, I think it's anything that we could do to automate to make the mundane admin kind of parts more efficient, more effective, to give us more time for the human side, to have more human connections and deeper those, that's where it's critical. But we're going to continue this conversation. We apologize, everyone out there, for the tech. We want to thank everybody for joining us today. We apologize to any guests that might have gotten cut off. We're going to reboot them next week. We'll do a part 2 for some of our French-Canadian friends over there. We're going to try it again. But listen, you know where to find that more, purpleacorn.io. Find us on Spotify, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. YouTube, check us out. We have Hire Her coming up tomorrow, Wednesday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 on the East Coast. Also, premiering a new show called My First Job with Mike Wood. That is this Thursday, the 5th at 11 a.m. Pacific time. The Alder Hour with Matt Alder, Monday. That's premiering Monday. And check over to Purple Acorn. Thank you to our friends over at ERIN. We appreciate everybody. On behalf of Danielle, who's recovering, Joel Laipply,
get better, Danielle,
Serge, and myself, Adam Posner. This is the HR Morning Show. Thank you for tuning in. Have a great day. Be good to yourself and be better.